When does this happen?
This was really recent. So like he was working for Russia as a spy to spy on Britain. But
and what's his name again?
Sergei Skripal. But in reality, though, he was really working for Britain to spy on Russia. So they call it like a double spy.
I see.
And I guess Russia found out. Oh. So needless to say, no one's taken responsibility for it yet. And of course, Putin denies everything. But all of a sudden, you know, him and his daughter were, you know, they had like gone to eat at a restaurant and like they left partway through and collapsed. They ended up getting poisoned with like a nerve agent, and they the whole thing was like hazmated off. And
when
like,
was this?
Oh, this was like wicked recent. This was like I think it happened a couple weeks ago. And
really?
Like,
wow.
Yeah, they're still cleaning it up and stuff. Yeah, and
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, they were.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, they were in the hospital and really sick and stuff. And
how do you get all this stuff? You're pretty smart.
Oh, you know what it is my dad and my stepmom at home, they're like the news Nazis. I call them the news Nazis. So we not only have to watch the local news and the weather, which also repeats itself, but then we got to watch world news, and then we watch Inside Edition, and then we watch New Hampshire Crime.
You're news down.
Yeah, I either have to like.
I'll give you a theme to watch this weekend. You want to?
For what?
So I came across last week. There is a patient who came and told me, like, you know, I'm going to tell it in a way that makes it into a story.
Okay.
So this girl, she comes and says, have you watched the Osho? What is it? OHSO. This guy was like almost arrested for some sexual crimes. Ends up being all a conspiracy. And like, you know, deliberately they wanted to arrest him so he can be prosecuted. But he was doing all the right things.
Yeah.
So I have never heard about him. So then I watched him, and he says prohibition is what starts the attraction towards drug. And he started saying how when God first time put prohibition on saying you cannot eat an apple, the whole thing started. That's his like way of saying.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
He says, like, you know, they had a forest. There's no way Adam would have found the tree.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So he says by pointing it out and blaming it on a poor snake. You should watch.
That's wicked funny. Oh
I'll
God.
actually play that video for you. And so,
that's funny.
like, you know, OSHO on drugs. So pick it up. So that is one thing that came to me. So then I thought that was hilarious. So I'm gonna bring it up this video.
Also on. I'll write it down.
And let me skip this ad. So he says it right later on here.
Only stupid thing. By prohibiting other men not to eat from the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. Now, in the Garden of Eden, there must have been millions of trees.
Isn't he? Didn't you show me him before?
God
right? He was the one when you showed me that speech.
About those
No.
trees.
No?
I don't
Oh.
even
He
know.
really looks the same.
Probably. I've seen him
So he
before
says-
on something.
It was impossible. But prohibiting it and then dumping the whole thing on the poor snake.
I love his accent. Okay, it's
That's
so
wicked
cute.
funny. Oh my God.
So that I came across, right? So then afterwards,
That's so
what happens
funny.
was, so I was reading. There was another guy. I'll go into the history. I don't know whether the history would come alive. Probably have to sign in to my account.
I'm on YouTube
So-
all the time. I have the YouTube Red, and I
So
pay
this is
my
the
dad
second
10
video
bucks
I
a
want
month.
you to watch. Okay, this is by Harold Kautz, and so he says his video.
How
Let
do
me
you
see.
spell it again?
I'm gonna bring it up for you so
Oh,
you'll
okay.
see. So Harold Klauz, sorry, Harold Klauz, and he was it with Bella, Bella. Oops, sorry. Bella, and then he was speaking with a lady. It's called Cabin Talk.
Oh, okay.
In this, go to
Hi, everybody. It's Claudia with
13.05.
Cabin Talk. And today I have a very special guest on that I have been with Lilith, because Lilith kept him in balance. Type of wood with
13.05. I want to go to the exact place. Okay,
because Satan realized that Adam is not falling, and but he was kind of fighting with Lilith, because Lilith kept him in balance.
He says Adam had a past life.
And so he created a second wife for Adam, an artificial creature that was kind of designed as the perfect sexual match and the perfect match for Adam. And he just managed to convince Adam to expel Lilith and take Eve. I have never heard that story before. I've never heard that before. Yeah, she was living outside of the Garden of Paradise. He didn't kill Lilith, but he sent her away. So she left the garden and lived outside of the garden.
So that is the second story, right? So then, actually, I did the whole video. If you go to my channel, healnow.tv, this whole thing, like, you know, if you go to healnow.tv.
Oh yeah.
The whole episode, like, you know, how I discuss. See, this is my logo. You would see.
Oh yeah. You got the
so
shirt.
if you go to videos, and I'm gonna tell you the title which you wanna watch for. The whole thing about, I think it will say case. See this one. This cache. This video. Golden Temple. So watch that, and what I'm going to do is bring up the third article. So then I'm like, you know, so every 11th day of the lunar cycle, I do a fast. So because what energy we put in our body for 72 hours later affects our mind. Mind is like a drone.
Yeah.
So the energy takes that much to metabolize and come into the brain center. So the brain center will spin out of control. Like tomorrow is full moon. So what happened on the 11th day of lunar cycle, which is like, I think I was doing my observation of being careful with what I eat. It was either Tuesday, I think, Tuesday night.
Oh, okay.
I was careful about what I'm putting in my body.
Crazy on full moon,
so
I'm like a night creature.
That's what activates us. So usually each lunar cycle would have one theme. So the theme for this fortnight, like, which is like 14-day period, like every fortnight, the theme would be about a certain topic, and this topic was what is love versus lust. And interestingly, lust means conditional love. That is, I love you, now make me happy. Versus love is unconditional. And then that's when I again came across. So this one, it says,
I think lust too is like you're infatuated with somebody, but you don't really love them, and then love is like, you know, you're in love with them unconditionally.
So this one goes by like a fantasy land. It's called Pundarika, and in that court, many Gandharvas or people who are in the fantasy land enjoy herbs and other stuff. So let's say they are having a pot party, you know. So they were doing a DJ, singing and dancing. And so there was a couple. Lalit is the man, Lalita is the female, and they were dancing, and she was dancing, but he was singing. But eventually she danced away. So he felt into ocean of tears because he feels the separation. He cannot tolerate her moving more and more into that ecstasy when he couldn't be part of the dance. He's probably not a good dancer.
Yeah.
So then he became weaker and weaker in his voice and forgot the songs. So the serpent comes out and it says, it knows the problem. It knows the mystery. But he says, you spoil, because of your attachment, the rhythm. And so you distracted everybody. So I curse you to become a man-eater cannibal. Okay. So this is the curse it places. And the wife, because he was a catfish, right? Like a serpent was a catfish. So it meant like Eve, if you get into the theme.
Yeah.
So when they want to regain the relationship, they're going to be very, very difficult with the spouse, right?
Yeah.
So he become demon-like and fearsome fire. So let's say he was drunk and he was like very, very difficult with her.
Yeah.
So he started day and night. Like
You mean the serpent was being difficult?
No, Adam.
Oh, Adam. Oh, okay.
Who is a Lalit, because he's banished from the serpent. He's saying you cannot be. See, serpent is a catfish, so he forbids Adam, Lalit, to be in his space because he's missing his rhythm and not maintaining his routine of having a high party.
Okay.
So Adam slips down and become, let's say he's so drunk. Let's assume, right? He became alcoholic. Let's call it. So he abuses his wife when he's in that state. So the wife is in intense pain day and night. So the snake forbids them to go and live in the forest. So she accompanies the husband to the forest. So that's where she meets a great saint, and she says to him, please tell me what's the remedy. Is there anything you can offer so that I'd be able to help my so it's here she says, my husband is cursed by a serpent, and he's in a demonic form. And please, is there some way you can remove this affliction?
Yeah.
So he wants him to give detox.
Yeah,
let's call it, right?
Yeah.
So that's when he says, observe this full moon. And he says, by you understanding how to be unconditional love, you can transfer. So essentially, she becomes his therapist, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So regains him back. So this is another way to say it. Then I was fascinated, and then I was also hearing in that tape. I went back to his tape where, what is it? That Harold Cause tape, and KLAUZ, and in the same tape which we're playing now. Where the heck is history? Oh, it said history. Why did it go away? But anyway, so I was watching the same tape when it come into completion, right? In that tape, he says Jesus never died, and I was shocked. And Osho also says that. Osho says Jesus never died on the cross. He was taken out within 6 hours because it was a conspiracy. They also said that. And in that tape, so I came across 3 tapes. It's Osho who led me to this, and Harold also led me to this. This also ties in with the serpents. So it's like same resource giving me same stuff. So then I decided to watch an Indian documentary called Jesus in Kashmir, and they have proof Jesus was in Kashmir.
Oh yeah.
I think it is the responsibility of India and the government of Kashmir to step up to the plate, to take Rosabal, to protect it and restore it, and to preserve it for all future generations.
So they found his tomb there, and also they found he established a new pathway for Buddhism called Mahayana Buddhism. And since then, the Buddhist religion has changed. And he taught not only Christianity, he taught Buddhist, Muslims, Judaism, and Hindus and Vedagamas how to use universal love. So Christ died at the age of 112 there, and he was married. He was accompanied by Mary Magdalene, and his mother died in Pakistan, Muri, and they have a tomb for her. And the king, Kanishka, loves him so much, he gives a girl to, and this is a coin he created for her.
At this very place. Scholars came down from far off places like Central Asia, China, Sri Lanka, and other parts of India. This fourth Buddhist Council is a landmark event in the history of Buddhism. It gave birth to Mahayana Buddhism. Who was the moving force behind the great revival of Buddhism? Such a great insight requires a great personality.
That's Jesus. He changed Buddhism.
Great personality was none other than Yusa Asa. The strongest evidence for this are the 2 coins released by Kanishka. One coin mentions Buddha or Buddha. The second coin mentions Yuzo or Yuza Asa.
That's for Jesus. They released a coin
Clear
just
that
like stamp.
Ganesha
Oh, wow.
respected and
So
adored.
that says his leg they took as an imprint, and you
Oh,
could
yeah.
see the nail mark.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So he actually then lived there, and the king persuades him to marry a girl, and her name is Marjam, and they have a child, Elikim. So now U.S. government want to do a DNA testing on them
Oh, that's a good
to
idea.
establish. So he changed Buddhism.
Yeah.
He created a new way to live. So the whole Dalai Lama, he's his descendant.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Like,
That's
so
funny.
because we didn't have internet, it never got on, I guess. So
Yeah.
he continued his legacy, and he united every religion. And I'm like saying, oh my God.
That's amazing.
So this whole week, like, and also they said the way 6 hours after the cross, because Pontius Pilate was so torn up about the crucifixion,
Oh, yeah.
he does it very late. So when within 6 hours they give him some medicine that makes him pass out.
Yeah.
And because of that, they don't break his leg because they assume he died. So
Oh,
they
okay.
actually bring him to the tomb, and the people who took care of him take aloe to the tomb. They said if it is an embalming, you would never take aloe. They healed the wound. And in Hebrew, it says both resurrection and resuscitation has the same word.
Yeah.
So for them, it's a miracle because he lost all his blood, but he woke up.
Right.
So he was traveling, and then he ended up reaching Kashmir because they said he originally was there 14 years to 28 years, which Bible never has a track of. So he goes back. The 3 lamas who found him when he was born
Yeah.
are Buddhist monk who was tracking him all the time. So he always had the ability to go back to them. So whenever, it seems all the Judaism who escaped Roman, the one in Kashmir, they established their own place, and he said, I need to find those lost lambs. So he actually went and tracked them, and he lived with, with his own community.
Wow.
So on his tomb, it actually shows him, his resting place here.
Whatever may be the ultimate truth,
So that is his, and they said because he had the nail mark there,
the prophet, sages,
Yeah.
and saints reveal
and
the
so
secret
they
truth
show his
in
picture,
different ways.
Yeah.
and they said,
The confluence points of diversity of people. Love to all is their fundamental message. We, the ignorant followers, create conflicts and sects, but the messengers of God reach oneness of truth.
and they will show his
Evidences are
tomb.
very strong that Yuza Asid, the prophet buried at Gozabal, and Jesus Christ are the same person.
That is his tomb.
Next,
Oh, wow.
So they sectioned it off because it's they consider it's like, they don't want to be visitors there.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
So I was fascinated by this whole, everything kind of fell into place. So I felt it is true story of resurrection for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's amazing how
Yeah, that's
people
awesome.
and their quality never changed. Jesus from his love never changed. So,
Oh, yeah.
So I loved it. So I think that was what I was working on last week, and I don't think any true Christian will be interested in hearing my version. But I felt very keen,
No,
so to speak,
I think
because I felt it's not injustice.
Yeah.
It's not somebody hurt him.
Right.
At least there is hope in my heart, saying, "Hey, you know what? I would rather play this story."
Yeah.
I was asking my husband, "How dare Judea X person?" So my husband says, "Why don't you think of it this way? Let's assume Judea believed very, very sincerely Jesus is God, okay?
Yeah.
And he, Jesus also, he was his favorite. And let's assume Judah thought he can never be killed. So it didn't bother him so much because he says, my guy is stronger. So he might have did it not understanding that he is vulnerable.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, I would rather, I was trying to argue. He says, I would rather play this story than hear your story. And I kind of get it. I'm saying, so he says, you can play your story and be miserable. I can play my story and be happy. So I feel I want to give him that. Okay, so let me play that story, Let me play that story so now that I bought his story, this story is easy to buy for me because I already got
the other one, yeah.
So I said, okay, let me say, with Judah's mistake is only repenting for 2,000 years. now that I'm done repenting, God is saying, okay, you know what? I'm saved, don't worry.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm saying, finally he put me out of my misery, 2018. So I loved it. I loved this conclusion. So this Easter is really precious for me, but I don't think I'll bring it up to my in-laws because I don't think they will like my version. But it is true. Many people are talking about it. It's not just me, and I loved it. You know, because I did stay in a convent for 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So I stayed with some nuns and stuff, and I feel truly like it's not the religion that separates us; it's a mindset of people.
Yeah.
Because the nuns were so sweet. They didn't care whether I am baptized or not. They adored me. You know? So like I think the whole thing is like, you know, I feel separation is in people's head.
Yeah.
People's heart always holds us together.
Yeah.
So they don't care.
Yeah.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you. No, that was a really nice story though.
For Easter, right?
It was enlightening too.
Happy
I never
Easter.
like.
But you know what? Watch all that and we'll